You know, a day in fall is always a great day for a walk. The weather isn't too hot or too cold, and the trees turn into nice warm colors. Only issue is you gotta watch out for ghosts and other spooky things. Halloween is right around the corner after all, though all this walking has made me kinda thirsty. Oh no. Oh god, oh fuck, it's them! Hello, hi, and welcome. I'm Lazur, and today I will be killing two birds with one stone. I need something spooky to play for a Halloween special, and I also need to ward off the evil spirits that are circling my house by playing something old. So today I will be playing Blood Fresh Supply, the 2019 remaster of Blood for DOS and Windows. Whew, okay, good. It seems the trick is working. I've just got to seem boomer enough for them to get bored and leave. Blood is an FPS game made in 1997 that utilizes Ken Silverman's build engine, a 2.5D FPS game engine created for 3D realms. While similar to Doom's engine, aka idTech 1, the build engine was more advanced because of its ability to create multi-level structures and slopes. I don't really understand it myself. Something about how the engines are actually 2D and the map is constructed in this top-down map mode, so the program doesn't really see the map as 3D? I don't know. What I can tell you is this is one of the big four games that use the build engine. The other three being Duke Nukem 3D, Shadow Warrior, and the one that everybody forgets about, Redneck Rampage. Though the engine was mainly used by 3D Realms, the other two games were developed by Xatrix Entertainment and Monolith Productions, with today's video focusing on the latter. Monolith Productions, not to be confused with the Japanese company Monolith Soft, were founded in 1994 in Kirkland, Washington. They were originally split into two portions, Monolith Games and Monolith Studios. The Studios portion, for the brief time that they were active, were mainly focused on whatever the fuck they felt like that day. With the Blood Wiki listing 3D scanning, rendering, motion capture, animation, audio/video and multimedia engineering services for use in television and film, software, architecture, engineering, and science. Monolith's first efforts included the Monolith CD, practically a demo tape, featuring music and other software goodies, and the front ends for the Windows 95 game sampler and its sequel. They also produced 1995's Mobus, the ultimate PC game according to itself. Blood at that time was being created by Q Studios, not to be confused with the Japanese company Q Studios. Originally founded as Apogee West in 1993, at that time it would have been published by 3D Realms and FormGen. It was even planned to bring Blood to the PlayStation and Sega Saturn. Somewhere around 1996 to 1997, however, Q Studios would merge with Monolith Productions and continue to develop the game under Monolith's name. Also around that time, Blood's source code had been stolen by an employee and then leaked by a computer repair shop employee in February of 1996. This version is commonly known as the Blood Alpha, and is about what you would expect from something of this nature, unfinished and janky. Though this build contains an entire episode's worth of content, which would later be touched up by a fan named Moz and put out for free as the lost episode. Speaking of touch-ups, this is where I get into the version of the game I played. Blood Fresh Supply, as stated earlier, is a 2019 remaster by Night Dive Studios, a studio focused on remasters of old games, including System Shock 1 and 2, Turok 1 and 2, this weird spaceship game called Forsaken, Harvester, and all of these other games. They also created the Kex engine, which just makes these games easier to port and actually run well. This version also combines both the Plasma Pack and Sunstorm Interactive's Cryptic Passage, though for the sake of being able to release this video before October ends, I will only be taking a look at Episode 1, The Way of All Flesh. The plot is pretty easy to follow, but kinda hard to look at. You are Mr. John Blood, aka Caleb, a member of the Cabal and one of the Four Chosen, which is the highest rank in the cult. This dude right here is Chernobog, and for whatever reason he hates all of the Chosen right now, so he decides to do something with each of them. They don't exactly die, but I'm assuming if I want to find out more, I'll just have to play beyond the first episode. Oh, and also, this is Caleb's love interest. Her name is Ophelia Price, which will be important later. Anyway, Caleb falls into a void and wakes up in a grave, armed with a pitchfork and an Army of Darkness quote.
I live again.
If you're going to be stuck with a character for an entire game, and they have a tendency to run their mouth whenever they can, Caleb is an example of how to do it extremely well. He's funny, witty, and oddly charming for a sadist, equipped with quotes and one-liners all delivered by the deep, soothing voice of Stefan Waite. Known for voices in Pajama Sam, No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside, Pajama Sam 3, Freddy Fish 3, and Mario Party 8. Wow, for a guy most known for playing a sadist, he sure did a lot of kids' games. Other notable roles include the Colonel from Metroid Other M, and Grail from Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Fresh out the grave, the first gun we get is the flare gun. While not your typical pistol, it's great for taking out zombies, and its alt-fire acts as sort of a long-range shotgun type of thing, akin to Roadhog's alt-fire in Overwatch. Investigating the gravestones leads to me taking 40 damage because I wasn't careful. And that's to one cultist, by the way. This game is not fucking around. If you're not careful, it will kill you any chance it gets. It could also be because I'm playing on Well Done, one step below the apparently unfair Extra Crispy difficulty. I appreciate the difficulty naming of a classic FPS like this. It's always fun to see how creatively the creators will call you a pussy by playing on easy, though apparently made to order is a custom difficulty, allowing the player to optimize the game to their liking. But I'd rather play the game as Monolith intended, if their intention was for me to never see my health above 40 for most of my playtime, that is. Second weapon I pick up is TNT. Ah yes, the two classic starting weapons of any FPS, fire and explosives. TNT is a lot of fun to throw around, and this first stage shows exactly why. Right here in this hallway, there's a zombie on either side of you. You could shoot them with your flare gun, or if you're very conservative, a thing I wouldn't recommend doing by the way, you could stab them to death. Or you could bait both of them to follow you, and give them a bundle of joy where the hallway converges. Next room seems to be a staple of Blood level design. Enter a room with cultists on the ground and on elevated floors, all hit scanners, just itching to fill you with lead, or give you a taste of your own medicine by blowing you up instead. After defeating those guys and trying to avoid these fucking rats, I play the organ while standing on it and collect these dollar store joke glasses. These, along with a medkit I found in a later room, are some of the sub-items in the game, and I didn't know how they worked for a minute. So by pressing Q and R, you can cycle which inventory item appears on your HUD, but that doesn't select it. You instead have to press the item's corresponding hotkey. For example, M for medkit, J for jump boots, etc. You'll want to consult the options menu when you pick a new item up, or you could consult the help menu, which doesn't change for rebinded keys, but it's worth a skim just to see the little funny animations that play. Nearing the end of the first stage, I've thrown TNT out of this hole in the wall to get rid of the two cultists down below. It seems like a dumb thing to praise, but I'll do it anyway. So I had to play this level again because I had created a bad save in level 2. This time I had used up all my TNT before I got to this part, so I had to try and use the flare gun to take these guys out. While a small thing, I like how situations can play out completely differently because of one minor thing. It shows how replayable the game is, and also how really good the designers are at utilizing the tools the player is given. Stage 2 is a train station level, and oh boy, this is where we get one of the best weapons in video games. No normie shotgun here, and blood we get straight to the good shit. Well, okay, I'm exaggerating a little. Its normal fire isn't anything to write home about, and its range at long distances is expectedly bad, but I could use the sawed-off all day, just fucking BLAM! BLAM! Its normal fire shoots out of one barrel, 2 clicks and you'll have to reload. The alt fire, however, shoots out of both barrels at the same time. And if you're not using the alt fire at all times, then I'm sorry that your skull has just been deformed for all your life. Oh, and we're not done on cool fucking guns. Introducing the Tommy gun. While it's probably the most standard weapon in the lineup, that doesn't stop it from being any less fun. It can mow down enemies in seconds, and its alt fire, personally dubbed the spray and pray, somehow works wonders against hordes. Though I never really got to try it out until stage 3, because I had accidentally used up all the ammo when I got the Akimbo power-up. This, and the invisibility power-up, which unsurprisingly makes you invisible to enemies for 99 seconds, are the only 2 power-ups I found in episode 1.
Hello, may I speak to Mr. Jazz? First name Hugh.
After searching for a Mr. Jazz, we catch a train, which is where stage 3 takes place. This is where the game kinda turned into Hotline Miami for a bit. I was low in health for most of the stage and had to rely on quick saves to keep retrying train cars over and over until I could get it right. If I had to describe Blood in a few words, they would be just when you thought it was safe. Because just when you think you've cleared out a room, some douche comes out of nowhere like, "You missed a spot! BAM! Fuck you! Should've known I was there, dipshit!" Not to say that made the game any less fun. That was Hotline Miami's selling point, and it kinda rings true here too. Its difficulty is really what you're gonna get the most out of from this game. Not so much the being lost and confused parts though. It's expected out of games like this to have those where do I go next moments. Though they're never too bad here, allowing the player to find secrets and other things. It's also a nice bit of downtime too, while the game's atmosphere surrounds you in its gothic setting. The setting is a part of what separated Blood from other games in the genre. While Duke 3D had cities, Doom was focused on Mars bases and Hell, and Shadow Warrior opted for more Asian-themed stuff, Blood wanted to capture horror. So it did that, and it did it well. Levels range from gothic temples and graveyards to more metallic 1900s type trains and carnivals. The game's time period is set somewhere around the early 1900s with stuff from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and possibly even the future. Though the sequel, Blood 2: The Chosen, would retroactively put Blood in 1928. Oh, Blood 2. Oh. You know what? Forget I ever said that. Blood could exist in Candyland and it still would be better than that one. Instead of talking about that one, let's do something fun, like going to a carnival. Wahoo! Carnival! Yeah! So anyway, as I was saying, this game loves dark environments. Though it won't try to scare you or anything, and it won't try to pull any of that shit that old Doom pulled where it turned the lights off and tells you to have fun. You'll be able to see what you're doing and where you're going. Ooh, what does that sign say? Jojo the Idiot Circus Boy, huh? Is that a nope, nah, not gonna do it. I'm better than that. This joke is way too obvious. I'm not gonna. Let's see, what's in here? Oh, in here there were a bunch of cultists ready to see Jojo cross a snake pit. Nope. I said I was not going to, so I am not going to.
I want Jojo. I want Jojo.
I swear to God, I will not do a Jojo reference. I'm better than that. I'm not like that anymore. I cannot talk about Jojo for a while. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I can't. I will never.
Jojo.
Never make
Jojo. Jojo.
again.
Jojo. 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 Jojo.
Ah, okay, fine. Is that a... No! Okay, I swear I won't make a JoJo reference this time. Also, I almost forgot to mention the voxel assets. The game is made up of both 2D and 3D assets, which, to my knowledge, is the first build engine game to do that. Honestly, it doesn't look out of place either. The stuff that is in 3D fits really nicely with everything else. Now is around the time I would also like to bring up the music. As this is around the time I switched the music to the CD quality versions. This game has two versions of the soundtrack, one in MIDI and one in CD, to compensate for the fact that not everyone who owned a PC had a sound card that could go beyond the range of beep, boop, and bop. Both versions are a series of ambient tracks which add to the atmosphere of the game, though I never really heard much of the soundtrack over the sounds of... While the CD versions sound better, neither are really something I'd listen to outside of the game. The only major thing left to look at in this stage is the napalm launcher, the last weapon of episode 1. It functions as any typical rocket launcher should. Fire explosive thing, big boom, room clear. It also seems to set things on fire that didn't die from the explosion. So by pulling off some of my sick Roblox obby skills and having the brain the size of Josuke's hair, I found my way into episode 1's secret level. You mother... Jabaited! This level is just a slide for the most part. It's a lot of fun, but there's nothing much to talk about here. Moving on. Since we have all the weapons at this point, I would like to gush about how well these weapons are used. If the developers did not want you to use a certain gun, it would not be in the game. Every weapon has its time in the spotlight. If you're running low on ammo for one gun, you may want to switch to a gun that's overflowing with ammo. A room may require an explosive to start, then switch to the Tommy gun to clear out the rest, and pick up any stragglers with the shotgun. Oh, and don't worry about running low on ammo either, as ammo is usually pretty common. This level is where I regret being such a quick save fanatic. As with any FPS at the time, you could quick save wherever with the function keys. which can lead to moments like this. This is less of a criticism and more of a PSA to not just quick save, but pause the game and actually save often, because if you don't, you're going to have to do the entire stage over again from a previous save. Or if you're extra unlucky, have to pitchfork start. Now, I've never had to do that myself, but trust me, you probably will not want to. Fast forwarding to the last level of this episode, we face off against this thing, Chiog, ruler of the gargoyles. Those flying bastards that are a bitch to take out without explosives. Chiog isn't very tough, he shoots lasers and flies, that's about it. My strategy to take him down isn't very complex either. Hold D, aim at boss, and fire until he is dead. Once that's taken care of, Caleb unchains Ophelia and cremates her, then giving Chiog one last kiss goodnight. And that, folks, is where the story will end for now. Partially because I want this video to come out on time, but also because I'm very exhausted. This game really took it out of me. I don't know if you could tell, but this game is good. Like, really fucking good. So good, in fact, that I'm surprised that the person watching this video right now hasn't already bought the game yet. Go! Do that! This game is amazing, and it's coming from somebody who only played the first out of 6 episodes. The setting, atmosphere, and characters are all amazing to see and hear. Its gameplay is just hands down perfect. It feels like they squeezed out all the good shit from FPS games of the time into one gory, frantic shoot-fest of a game. I couldn't recommend this game enough to any fan of FPS or anyone who just wants some good shit to play. Though beware of the difficulty. Some places I've seen recommended the lightly broiled difficulty, but I would say to play on well done if you want a challenge. Okay, well, I think I mentioned enough boomer shit for all those Fortnite kids to leave me alone. Phew! I dodged that bullet again, thank God. Oh God! Oh, hello there. Would you like some candy? Candy? Did I seriously just offer him candy?
Good, bad. I'm the guy with a gun.